Welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Jemma Gofton with another edition of the programme that aims to make your next cruise or holiday as problem-free and relaxing as possible. So if you have a holiday, cruise or travel-related question, here's how to get in touch. To leave a question on our viewer hotline, call 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Write on our Facebook wall or tweet us, just search Holiday and Cruise Channel. Send a message through our website www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk/clinic. or write to us at the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. One of the greatest pleasures of travel is truly connecting with people and cultures through authentic experiences. That's why Azamara Club Cruises stays longer in port with more overnights and night touring, offering almost endless new possibilities to explore. It's what makes them so different from everybody else. Nobody does it better. With Azamara Club Cruises, you'll experience incredibly scenic waterways far off the beaten track and prime docking locations. Two great advantages of their luxurious smaller ships while on board, enjoying the many inclusive amenities, and with one staff member for every two guests, you'll love the attentive personal service too. Here to tell us more is Richard Tywnam from Azamara Club Cruises. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Hello again.
Almost a friend of the show, that's what I call you.
Thanks.
Tell us, what are the current trends that you're seeing in cruising at the moment?
Well, I think the big thing that has probably been heightened during 2015 is that brands are really focusing more on their USP, what makes them different. So there was the launch of Britannia in 2015, and its Britishness was one of the things that really stood out about what made it different. So I think brands are focusing a lot more on that.
And how do those trends relate to you then?
Well, at Azamara, we talk about longer stays, more overnights and night touring. So for us, it's all about the destination. So giving people much more authentic experiences. So the trend of reinforcing what you stand for with us is simple. It's just about reinforcing how good the destination experience is.
I guess the destination is the top selling point for a cruise.
In every survey that's ever been done about why people go on cruising, destination is always the first reason that people give. As cruise ships have got bigger, the ships in many cases have become the destination, but for Azamara we make the destination the rock star. That's the headline, if you like, because it's the best thing to do, you know, to go and explore the destination on your cruise as well as then getting back on your ship and having a great time.
Well, I guess that's got to be, it's hand in hand, isn't it? When you cruise, you want the luxury on board, but you also want the wow of the destination. People
want authentic local cultural experiences, and that's what Azamara offers.
Now, I think, and I know very little, trust me, that cruising seems to have come down in age. When I chat to people now, more and more people seem to go, oh yes, we're going on a cruise.
Sure.
People that you wouldn't have thought of 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Has it shifted?
The average age has actually got about a year older, but what's shifted is the pattern. So what I mean by that is that there are more multi-generational holidays. So there's more 3 generations of the same family going away. And also the millennial generation, so people that were born in or around the year 2000, actually are really excited by, wow, this ship offers me the opportunity to get off every other day, and there's a whole load of stuff to do on board as well. So for whatever reason, that generation's quite turned on by cruising.
Do we know what the shift is? Is it that it's out there more for us to see, advertising is better, or is it that when people are going on it, they're chatting about it more?
There's a whole bunch of different things that have caused it, I think. I think it's things like social media, people are experiencing it differently. There's a broader range of cruising now. I mean, 20 years ago, there were much less ships than there are today. But now there's a ship for every different type of age, every different type of budget. Azamara focuses more at the top end, but there are cruises for those that want to spend less.
And as the customer, that's great for us, because when there's lots of competition, you've got to really up your game, haven't you?
Absolutely, and I think we do that quite well.
I would say so too as well.
Thank you.
Do you have a typical guest, a sort of average type?
Our typical guest is in their 50s. They're quite affluent. They love gardening, they love reading, they like cooking. They're their kind of leisure pursuits when they're not cruising. But their the 2 reasons for coming to us are the destination, but also those that have cruised with us before love our service on board, and they love the team on board because they know them by name. And actually, some of them will only cruise if it's Captain Carl or Hotel Director Heike. It's that level of personal attentiveness which Azamara can offer.
Well, those two members of staff must stand out because you name-checked them. They must just be...
There's lots more.
Oh,
There's lots
yes.
more. But I was actually speaking to Captain Carl just the other day, and he, you know, we worked with him recently, and people were coming up to him going, oh, "I've not seen you for 3 months. I'm back on board in 2 just because you're on board." You know, some of our staff are the rock stars, if you like.
So obviously we've discussed that destination is the point. But what else do your guests look for in a holiday?
That's a great question. So it's the level of inclusiveness. So we offer all your drinks, house drinks for free, all your meals are included, all your tips are included because Brits don't really get tipping. You know what, it actually takes the stress away if the tips are included, because you think, well, when do I tip? How do I tip? Who do I tip? Do I tip at the end? Do I tip after every meal? Sure.
So they're included.
Yeah, we include them. And then on every voyage, we also include something called an As Amazing Evening, which I'll talk about a bit later, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime cultural event that money can't buy.
Oh, sounds exciting. How do you stand out against the crowd then?
Well, as I said at the start, for us it's all about longer stays. So it's the fact that in 2016 we will go to 203 ports in 70 countries. And in over 50% of those ports, we either won't leave until gone midnight or we'll stay overnight.
What's the appeal of that? Why does that give the passenger a different vibe or a feel?
So, Gemma, pretend that you're in Barcelona.
Oh, I wish.
There you go. And it's 9 o'clock at night. You can go and have tapas with the locals and hear the hubbub in the tapas restaurant and experience that local culture. Or you can go on another cruise line and leave at 5 o'clock. A lot of our guests want to experience and immerse themselves in what's happening in Hong Kong, Monaco, Barcelona or Sydney, Australia at night.
And then I guess you see it in the day and then the whole experience of night is very different.
Well, there's no other
people.
tourists there. There's no other cruise passengers there, for one. So you've got the port to yourself. So we're a floating boutique hotel. So we use the ship as the boutique hotel, and then our guests can go off and enjoy the destination easily, just walking off the ship.
Let's talk about those amazing destinations that people book for.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Gosh, the easiest way to explain it is these two small ships go opposite ways around the world, and they meet every May at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
what a great meeting point.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to meet, is it? So one of them will go and do the western side of the world. So they'll go and do the sort of the small islands of the Caribbean. They'll do the Panama Canal, Costa Rica, and then they'll come back across the Atlantic and they'll meet at Monaco, and then that ship will then go and do Northern Europe, so the Nordics, the fjords around Britain. The other ship will start in Australasia, come back through Asia, do Hong Kong, Vietnam, Singapore, Bali, go to India, Sri Lanka, Dubai, the Maldives, and then it will come back and do Eastern Mediterranean, Greece, Turkey. Croatia is very popular at the moment. So we really do cover the world, as I say, 70 countries.
Well, do you think that cruising has perhaps opened up the world for people? Because Vietnam, for example, you perhaps wouldn't be secure. You might, I'm not sure about visiting there on my own and setting the holiday up on my own. But with the cruise, you've almost got the security.
It takes the stress away. So if people aren't... A lot of our travellers are what we call curious explorers. They actually want to get off the ship and explore. But actually, many people want their hand held. So we can do either. We can provide that. And if you are going to Burma or India or Sri Lanka for the first time, you might see that as a bit scary. But we can remove that scare for you.
What about new destinations? And I always wonder, who comes up with the idea of these new destinations?
Well, in our
Obviously,
case,
they're already there.
It's a crazy Austrian guy called Claudius Dossekal, and he's regarded as the Google of cruise itineraries around the world. This guy used to charter Concorde for a living, so he really knows his stuff. So he sits down and he plans us right the way through now until 2018. In terms of new destinations, Australia's a big deal for us in 2016. So imagine Sydney, sailing into Sydney Opera House, just amazing. I've spent a lot of time down there. Going to Milford Sound, which is a field at the bottom of South Island, New Zealand, seeing the Barrier Reef, New Year's Eve in Hong Kong. I mean, these are all really special places, and we'll be going to all of them in 2016. And
what about offbeat destinations? Places you would perhaps think of?
Well, actually, are much closer to home than you think. Liverpool. What about the Orkney Islands, the Outer Hebrides, some of the smaller fields in Norway, or even Nice? We're the biggest ship that can moor right up in the heart of Nice.
And do you find that they're popular because we sometimes take those places for granted?
A little bit. And actually, the ability to just explore off the ship and go and see it right on your doorstep is much, much better. But we also go to places in Asia and Australasia that, again, you know, Moreton Island, Moreton Island's this amazing beach just off the northeast Queensland coast, just staggering, and we're small enough to be able to get in there and see it.
Wonderful. Right, we have to have a quick break.
Okay.
Don't you go anywhere. Now, I'm going to be chatting with Richard after this quick break, but if you're already tempted by the idea of a cruise holiday, but maybe you're new to cruising, then this is our first time guide to cruise holidays, and it's absolutely free of charge. It's packed full of lots of useful information, and it answers some of the most common questions and quashes those cruising misconceptions. And to get a hold of your free copy, just give us a call, 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and mobiles may just vary. You can also request a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. And whilst you're asking for this, we'll take a quick break. See you shortly. Welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. It is lovely to have you with us. Now, in today's programme, we're discussing luxury cruising with Azamara Club Cruises, and Richard Tywnam is still with me. Now, let's talk about once-in-a-lifetime experiences.
Yeah.
This is an exciting subject.
It is, and a minute ago you got all excited about Monaco. So what about Monaco Grand Prix?
Love to do it.
For 5 nights.
And I'm not even interested in cars, but the whole thought of Monaco and the glass of champagne.
We have so many couples, and the guys go off during the day and watch the race, and the ladies just sit in the spa having a glass of fizz, having a lovely time. So that's one. I think we've got an itinerary coming up in 2017 that is the Seychelles and the Maldives on the same itinerary, which I think is just incredibly exciting. And New Year's Eve in Hong Kong is probably... I used to live in Hong Kong, so I'm very passionate about it. And, you know, the laser and fireworks show that they do there is just amazing. So some really special stuff.
Now, how long is a typical voyage if you were... Well, let's start off with, actually, if you were a first-time cruiser...
Yes.
...and you were giving it a go...
Yes.
...what would you suggest?
1 week in the Med, really, because that way people know the Mediterranean, they kind of trust it. It's easy to get to. It's only a week off work, so you haven't wasted too much of your holiday. If you didn't love it, you will love it. But that's a good entry point. Our smallest cruise is 5 nights, and that's Monaco, and our longest cruise is about 17, and they tend to be what we call repositionals. So they'll go from, say, Miami to Athens, bringing the ship back to Europe.
Well, that's quite a nice little trip, isn't it? Miami to Athens.
Well, it is a lovely trip, and we stop at places like small little islands in the Atlantic where Chris Columbus started his journey to the Americas and all this exciting stuff. But there's a lot of sea days. So if you've not cruised before, and that's your first cruise, then just be aware of that, because if you get seasick, then you're at sea for 3 or 4 days.
Well, while we're talking about being at sea,
yes,
we're glossing over seasick, we're fine with that, we're all good. We've got our sea legs.
Of course we are.
What's included? What can we do? How are we being entertained?
Great question. So we have a great spa on board with LMS products.
You need go no further, I'm fine.
You're fine, so we'll see you later, Gemma. But outside of that, we've got some fantastic restaurants on board, great entertainers, and then guest lecturers. So there's a lot to keep everyone kind of busy on those sea days.
I hear a lot about these lecturers and people on board, and is that to tell you about the area and what's typical to it and what's happening? Correct.
We have all types of lecturers, from economists to wildlife experts, who some will get on just dedicated for certain cruises, some because we've got a particular style of cruise. So we'll tailor it to the audience effectively.
And let's chat about dining.
Yes.
What can we expect from the cuisine? The
majority of your food's included. From morning buffet sitting on the back of the ship watching the sunrise over Monaco, for instance, to our sort of traditional kind of dining restaurant called Discoveries, which is more sort of a la carte. But we do have 2 specialty dining restaurants, one called Aquilinas, which is Mediterranean in style, one called Prime Sea, which is like a New York steakhouse. And you can pay a small cover charge if you're not staying in a suite to go and eat in there. And the food is it's the best Mediterranean food I've eaten anywhere in the world. It is staggeringly good. And it's all fresh, all produced on the ship. And where we can, we'll source the products locally as well.
Dining and cruising does go hand in hand, doesn't it? And they are
it's really important, but for us, we would actually prefer you to have a memory on the land that you never forget, rather than, oh my God, that steak will live with me forever, you know? So whilst the food is a really important part of the holiday experience, also, we have a program called Cruise Global Eat Local, where it's a bit like going to a restaurant that's got a TripAdvisor logo in the window. We've got those now all over Asia. So actually, rather than eating on the ship, we're saying go and eat on the land and go and experience what it's like to have dim sum with all the locals in Hong Kong or Vietnam.
Well, that's a great idea, because when you do go on holidays, you get so stressed about where to eat because you don't want to get it wrong, because those 14 nights or 7 nights are very precious to you, aren't they?
That's right. And we've taken all the hard work out of it. We've gone and checked it all. All the kitchens are clean, everything's safe, but the food quality is totally authentic and fantastic. So we've launched it in Asia and we'll be launching that in the rest of the world during 2015 and during 2016.
Brilliant. On to my favourite subject. Drinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
What's included? What are the drinks like on board?
Everything's included. So you're going to book now. But all the house alcohol is included. So wines, beers, selected spirits and soft drinks. A little nugget of information, bottled water. On some cruise lines, bottled water can be as much as $10 a bottle. And it's included for everyone on our ship. But if you do want a specialty cocktail, if you do want a 30-year-old bottle of champagne, then you can buy a package that will allow you to get that.
Oh, OK, so you've thought about it all, really, haven't you? You've thought about...
Even your teas and coffees. So if you love a coffee in the morning or a particular type of coffee, then we have a coffee shop called the Mosaic Cafe, and that's all free, and they will serve specialty coffees from all over the world and teas, and it's terrible for your diet because the scones and the biscuits and everything are fantastic.
Yes, but... can we work it off a little bit and maybe head to the spa and have massages that might work things away?
Well, we do. We've just been awarded by Cruise Critic having the largest gym in the small ship category at sea. So we've got a fantastic gym facility where you can do yoga lessons, you can work it off on the cross trainer if you want to, or Gemma, yes, you can go and have a massage.
You can have a wrap.
Yeah, or you can have hypnotherapy, you can have aromatherapy, you can have acupuncture, you can have Botox, you can have your teeth whitened, you can get your hair done. We do it all.
Now, when we talk about relaxing and unwinding and maybe just having a moment to yourself, because sometimes when you think of cruises, you think it's full on, there's that going on there and there's that going on there. Is there the opportunity just to sit down with your book and just take yourself away?
I think there's nothing nicer on holiday, irrespective of cruise or not, than just sitting down watching the sunset and reading a book. I personally love to do it in the ocean on one of our ships on a balcony because it's just so tranquil and peaceful. So there's plenty of time to do that. It's your holiday. So you don't want to come out of your holiday going, oh God, I haven't stopped. You want to come back relaxed. So you can be as busy or as relaxed as you want. OK. Well, talking about busy, let's talk about your special evenings. Our As Amazing Evenings, yeah. So we do, on every single cruise we offer a once-in-a-lifetime cultural event that money can't buy. And we do that in 90 countries around the world. So we did one in Liverpool in 2014, where we took the Anglican Cathedral privately, and we got the Cavern Club Beatles, the tribute act, and they played a private concert to all 650 guests on board. But we also do things like the Three Tenors from the Florence Opera House. We do a private ballet in the Tchaikovsky Theatre in St. Petersburg. This is all free as part of your cruise fare. So this isn't something that you book as well? Like you say, oh, that's like an excursion. It's not. This is included. This is for you. This is for you. Everyone gets it. Wow. And I was lucky enough in 2014 to go to the first ever event by any organisation at the Monaco Yacht Club. And you just cannot get in there. And Azamara was lucky enough to take all 650 guests to a private drinks reception there. And we also do one at the Oceanographic Museum in Monaco as well. They're just staggeringly good nights out, and the customer feedback from that is just sensational. Do you find that is a big selling point for you, that customers come back just to do something different again? Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. They want to go to Ephesus and they want to see the sunset over Ephesus, or people are booking because they want to go and see what it's going to be like in Sydney Harbour in 2016. I feel like I'm going to make you list them, but I won't, because they just all sound stunning. Thank you. OK, what about special voyages? So our headline ones really revolve around sport, actually. So it is Monaco Grand Prix, and then we have a British Open Golf. They're the two kind of headline ones, because to be honest, we spend so much time planning our voyages that we can go to those small ports that the bigger ships can't go into, that every voyage is pretty unique really for us. And I would just like to know, out of your experience, because sometimes it's nice to get somebody's feedback and recommendation. Yeah, sure. You've been in this business a fair few 21 years. You don't look old enough. Thanks. If you were just going to do a cruise, and it had to be the cruise of a lifetime, Gosh.
What would you do?
Well, there's a cruise at the moment that's very, very popular for us, which is 7 nights around Greece and Turkey, and it's going to places like Skiathos, which is where Mamma Mia was filmed, and it goes to Paphos, and it goes to Mykonos. And when you see the beautiful images of those islands and the sun setting and Santorini and all that stuff, they are really special memories, and they are very, very popular cruises right now for Azamara.
And what about, we haven't chatted about accommodation and different levels and what people can expect.
Okay, so we have 4 different types of accommodation, from inside stateroom all the way up to club owner's suite, and they're beautifully well appointed. So for us, we're a luxury boutique floating hotel, so it's understated, it's informal, there's no formality. You don't need your posh frock and your black tie. The rooms are large, the suites will have bathtubs as well as showers. You have a butler service, afternoon tea served in your suite. You know, so we thought of everything. You don't need to worry.
But if we talk about the different levels, if you were fresh to cruising,
oh, okay,
you would just maybe start.
So the lead-in type is an inside stateroom. So as the name suggests, it doesn't have a window. It's just an inside stateroom. But
I guess you don't spend a lot of time in your room,
correct.
do you? You're out doing.
If you're out seeing the destination, then you're not in there very much. Then next up from that, we have an ocean view, which has a window, and you can see the ocean, and that's a little bit bigger. But obviously they step up a little bit in price. Up from that, we have our veranda staterooms, which have all got balconies, and they're a bit bigger with a separate seating area, large wardrobe, and a good-sized bathroom. And then up at the suite level, we've got 3 different categories of suite as well.
I think that's the one for me, a suite.
I think so. See you in a suite.
How organised do you need to be when booking a cruise with you? Because it seems to me that cruisers are very organised. They know where they want to go and they know when they want to go.
Over 50% of our customers repeat, and they know the cabin number they want, they know the restaurants they want to eat in on the days they want to eat in because it's so-and-so serving the drinks, etc, etc. But the people that haven't cruised with us before, we can take it all away from you. So you can go and see the concierge when you get on board, and he'll direct you towards the relevant land excursions that you might want to book, or the restaurants you might want to eat in on a particular night. So don't worry, we'll sort it all out.
What might surprise people about an Azamara cruise?
There's 2 things. So firstly, how informal it is and how relaxed it is. There's no formality to what we do. So it's like sitting at home. It's really comfortable and informal. And secondly, because we're smaller, we can get into those ports that the big ships just can't get in. So be it Ho Chi Minh City or Nice, you're in for a really special time with Azamara.
Wonderful. I couldn't sum it up better. So thank you very much for your time.
Not at all, thank you.
Now, before we head off, let me give you a reminder about this. It's our first time guide to cruise holidays. It's absolutely free of charge. Just give us a call, 0871 423 4444. Now, calls will cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and other networks and mobiles may just vary. Don't forget, you can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, where you can also get in touch with your questions for future programmes. That's all we've got time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My huge thanks to Richard Tywnam from Azamara Club Cruises, and thanks to you for watching. I'll see you next time.